song choice on the show. Welcome back to Emotional Mojo. Do you want to live a truly authentic life? Well, why not do it by taking off all your clothes and showing up naked? Erica Boucher is an international yoga instructor, author, and life coach, and she joins us now to explain why we should all be showing up naked in life. Welcome, Erica.
Hi, thank you.
We got to talk about your book, Showing Up Naked. We were all admiring this. Now, clearly you shed it for the cover, but you're speaking in metaphors. Why the naked metaphor? Look at that hot body, by the way. Can we just say, you look good.
Thank you.
The camera guys are blushing.
Yeah.
A friend of mine once said to me about the work that I was doing with people, he said, really, ultimately what you're doing is you're helping people learn how to show up naked, because it's really just about being your truest, most authentic, real, honest self, without the social mask, without feeling the need to put on these pretenses and put all this energy into reinforcing them.
Which I think is probably one of the most difficult things to do in today's society.
Yeah.
It's more exhausting to keep up the mask than it is to actually be ourselves.
And it's funny because we talked about this even yesterday. Our challenge to people was to speak your truth, speak what you're feeling.
Right.
You know, is that kind of what you're promoting in this book? Tell us a little bit about it and what
Sure.
people can learn.
It's really about, well, first we start with the simple question, who am I? Like learning who you are, free of the expectations of others, because most people are living this externalized life. What does everyone want from me? What do people need from me?
Yeah.
Rather than really taking the time to figure out who am I and what am I about and why am I here? What's my purpose? So that's really the first question we will take some time focusing on in the book or in the coaching that I do with people. Then we start looking at our emotions. What am I holding on to from the past that's keeping me from being here in the present? So we talk a lot about forgiveness and giving ourselves permission to feel what we need to feel so that we can come out on the other side of it.
feeling
And
like
that's
it's
the
okay.
hardest thing, giving yourself permission to feel
Yeah.
what
And you're a certified
feeling.
counselor. I mean, when you're dealing
Yeah.
with clients, that's probably one of the biggest things you focus
It
on,
is,
right?
and what she's saying, that methodology is so parallel to what we do in psychology, but it's very interesting because being authentic is immeasurable. You can't measure it. So it's very difficult to say this is what being authentic is or this is what being real is.
You have
But
to
it looks
figure that
like
out
you
first.
have really, and you're doing a great job figuring that out.
And this is interesting too. You've used this philosophy to work with the homeless, abused, people with addictions. Can you talk about that connection between our beliefs and our memories and then our quality of life?
Well, yeah. Basically, we all come into the world and we're pretty open. And the subconscious we're just a wide open sponge taking in anything.
Yeah.
Our subconscious minds don't even begin to develop a filter until at least the age of 7. So everything that we're hearing and witnessing and being taught becomes a part of our belief system.
Well, and that's why people joke like kids say the darndest things. Because when they're really little, they
Right.
say
They
what
don't have
they
that
think.
filter.
Yeah, there's no
Right,
filter.
right, exactly. So until that filter is in place, we're taking everything in as if it's absolute fact. So whether you're homeless or abused or addicted, in those situations, a lot of them have been exposed to much more damaging experiences at those early ages.
Yeah.
But really, it applies to everybody across the board.
I think it's really interesting, Erica, because when we get older, we do kind of start to filter and we're not able to be authentic. But you talk about relationships, and that's how you are able to understand your quality of life. And I just came out of a really long relationship. So I wonder, how do you define your relationships based on being authentic?
Well, if you can show up honestly in your relationships and not censor yourself in order to be who you think the other person needs you to be, that's a litmus test for me. Am I really showing up authentically? Am I speaking my truth? And am I doing it in a way that this other person can actually receive it from me? So the quality of my relationships is a great mirror, a great way for me to see how I'm showing up. Because everyone's a mirror for me. If I'm coming from ego and anger and fear, and that's what I'm putting out there, that tends to be what's going to come back and back.
Absolutely.
And it's
That's
so
a great
great to
point.
have you here today because our life challenge is getting people to confess. So whether that's to themselves or somebody else, and I think that's a really great way to go about it. So thank you for coming.
Yeah,
And thank
absolutely.
you for chatting with us. Her book, by the way, again, is called Showing Up Naked. You can't miss the cover. So make sure you guys check that out. And Erica, we're going to have you hang out with us. We got a couple more
Great.
stories we want you to
Love
chime
to.
in on, okay?
Thank you.
So